guess I should start by saying that I've always been really into the environment. Ever since I was younger, my family went camping and I love to play outdoors. In my high school as part of my environmental club, and I took all the sort of courses that I could that involved the environment and geography and everything that I could to really learn about our world. When I went into university, I took my undergraduate in geography, so of course more world courses, and I kind of spread my love for the environment and learning about the earth and all those kinds of things throughout my whole life. The one thing that actually really got me involved into the resource aspect of our environment and how much as humans we really impact the earth was in my third year of my undergraduate at McMaster University. In my third year I took a course that was environmental economics, and about halfway through the semester we did an activity that worked for two reasons when talking about resources in relation to the earth. The first reason was because it involved Timbits, and if you know anything about university students, they'll do just about anything for food. And the second thing was the way she used Timbits to represent our Earth's resources was actually very realistic, and I'll explain that in a second. So what our instructor did is she split the class into two groups by alphabetical last name, and the first group represented our present generation, whereas the second group represented our future generations. Now the task of the present generation was to pick how many Timbits they would take for their generation. Now the trick was, like I said, in a realistic situation, they didn't know how many Timbits the professor had selected to buy for the whole class. So they were unsure of how many resources or Timbits they would actually leave for the future generations. To make a very long story short, they ended up picking one Timbit each, leaving two for the future generations, which as we can see is a little uneven. This assignment really stuck with me from then on, and like I said, I'd always been involved with the environment, but that particular activity really made me think about my impact on the environment. This topic actually grew with me when researching, and I tried to find an activity or a lesson plan that would teach people to implement different strategies for saving resources on a national, neighborhood, and an individual or a household level. As I was researching, I found that it was actually very hard to do simply because being sustainable or making our Earth sustainable was something that's very hard to define. As in the Timbit activity, being sustainable doesn't only mean that we leave resources for future generations, but it also means that we don't short ourselves of the resources that we have here on Earth, but make sure that we have enough to live comfortably as well. This is something that I really struggled with over the course of my whole research, and about halfway through I stopped and I kind of thought to myself, well, maybe I need to rethink this topic. What am I actually researching? How is really implementing strategies the only way to make our Earth sustainable for everyone? I kind of thought back to myself and why I wanted to do this project so much. And the reason I came to is that I care so much about the environment. Now, why do I care? I thought, what has made me care so much about the environment? And it may be a little biased because, as I said, I've always cared, but it went back to my school. My schooling, I had educators that always taught me, depending on the courses that I took, the importance of what I could do. Every little thing matters. The environment is something that we have such a huge impact on, which leads me to why I finally came up with the topic of our education can save the world. And it's as simple as that. I had many professors that showed me this, and I really believe that if we educate our young people to care about the environment, not only this is the strategy you should use, not only should you turn off the tap when brushing your teeth, not only should you try to take 5-minute cold showers, but to care is going to change their mindset. If we already cared so much about our environment that we put it before ourselves or at the same level as ourselves, we wouldn't need to be talking to large groups of people about how to not leave the water running when you're brushing your teeth. I had a professor, another one in my undergraduate, that was in my 4th year, and he did an activity with us. Now he showed us a sheet of paper that had a whole bunch of different scenarios on it, such as showering for 5 minutes, not eating meat for a year, things like that. Beside all those, we had to write how much somebody would have to pay us or what they would have to do for us to follow these for however long it stated. This is another thing that got me thinking. Well, which things did I say that people would have to pay me more to do than others? Is a 5-minute shower more understandable than not eating meat for a year, depending on who you are? This little activity that we did is the perfect example of what I think we should be educating our young about today. You don't have to do everything in the world that people tell you will help the environment. You know, if you don't compost, if you don't take 5-minute cold showers, if every time you have to go out, you don't walk or bike, but you go with your car, that's fine. The message that we should be sending young people is not that you have to do this, this, and this, and that's the only way our Earth is going to be perfect, but that every little bit counts. Maybe I want to keep eating meat for a year because bacon. Maybe I'm okay with taking 5-minute showers. That little bit multiplied by everyone on Earth, or even a small little community of people, even a neighborhood, even a school, even a country, those changes are going to be spread and you will be able to see them. Education is one of the most important things that we have. It's the reason why our country is so great and is able to have so much power and is able to have so much influence over other parts of the world, is because we're educated and we know the results of our actions. If we can get our kids, and not only kids, but our generation and our world and everyone that is living and has an influence to care about something small in our environment, the changes will be tremendous.